Hello, and welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. I am stuck in the judging seat again after a big battle last week in Mission Impossible. I think that's
Push me all the way.
I think that's one of the closest ones we've ever had. I think.
Yeah, normally when it goes like 4-3, it's been a 4-2 and then lose the last one.
Yeah, normally normally you might get the first one or two close, and then you push on somebody pushes on and gets the victory, and then the other person claws it back to make it look respectable. But this one was 1 for 1 pretty much the whole way. So Greg continued on.
It was a good fight.
Greg continued on as champion anyway, and he takes a new challenger here, a man who is really desperate for a win.
He's wounded.
Yeah, he's really on the ropes here. I think
how long has it been, Carl?
I can't remember. I'm trying to looking through all the results and just seeing when's the last one I actually won.
It might be the longest losing
streak, I think so.
To be fair, I'd be quite happy if it is, because that takes it off me. When we first started the show, I went off 4 games with no wins.
I had a long stretch as well. Yeah, I think I had a bit of a long stretch as well, but I think this might be the longest.
Carl's going through the yellow pages here.
Oh, Jesus, he's just fucking rifling through them. But the boys have been given a tough one this week. Obviously, in honor of Ray Liotta's passing, we decided to do Goodfellas. Tough one to do. So, how did you find this one, lads?
It wasn't the worst.
It's not that bad, but there's not many actors that do these parts anymore. I think, yeah. Like, you wouldn't have said Ray Liotta would have fit into this, but I think that's down to some great acting from him, but some great direction from Scorsese.
Yeah, I think.
I just checked here. I think the last one I won was Ocean's 11.
Woof.
That is a long old time ago. That's a long time ago. Well, we'll see if you can get yourself a victory here. We'll, as always, get you boys to send in the picks there nice and quick, just to make sure there's no cheating.
No chatting.
Want a good clean fight.
Don't use my lines here.
They're not your lines, you fucking nicked them.
Yeah, but I use them every week.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't use them every week because I'm not the judge every week.
Yeah, well, you see, this is what happens when you're a gangster, you steal people's stuff. So
mine's in.
Yeah, both are in there. So we'll, as always, start with the champion. We'll go with somebody with a small role, but I think still quite an important role, although you don't realise it at the time. Billy Batts.
Frank Vincent.
Yes, a small role, but very important because it kicks us off into the, everyone's like kind of downfall from Paul Cicero's graces. Like,
yeah,
this, like, you don't see a lot of it, but it just says it's a very important role in this movie, and I think everyone had their part to play in this in a way.
Yeah, I think it's mainly just obviously Tommy goes off the deep end, and then the boys kind of cover for him. I don't think Henry ever hits him. It's just Tommy and Jimmy that beat the ever-living shit out of him and kill him.
Yeah.
And then they obviously have to go off and bury him, and that's what ends up getting Tommy killed later in the film as well.
Yeah. That Tommy kill scene is awful, isn't it? He's getting made. No, pal.
That scene's tough.
Sorry, my head.
Yeah, but when he goes in, when he's all happy going in with the suit on to get made,
yeah,
and he just gets popped in the back of the fucking skull.
Yeah, and then Jimmy crying after he gets the phone call.
That's heartbreaking. And the payphone.
Yeah, he's very sad after his best mate gets killed. But who do you have for this, Greg?
Bobby Cannavale. Obviously, he's in Jumanji. He's in The Irishman as well.
Yeah.
We've used him a few times, but I think he was in Boardwalk Empire as well.
Yeah.
Kind of similar look to Billy Batts too.
Yeah, he probably he's a little bit younger than the original actor, but I don't think that makes too much of a difference. Really, it's been in prison for the last couple of years, but sure they could have gone to prison at any time,
or more than once.
I did go with a legend there myself. I went with a Don Johnson.
Okay.
Miami Vice.
Don Johnson, he has played this type of role in the last couple of years. He's played this kind of
Miami Vice
enforcer type guy.
Yeah. I went with John Turturro, who
what a man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's obviously the new Batman. He's your Don Maroney in the new Batman, and
he's Jesus in Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he's brilliant in it as Batman. Like, that's what sold it for me. I was
he's amazing. It's amazing his reinventation of himself.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind taking a role where he's going to be killed off. So
well, yeah, like he's been killed off in a good few things.
Yeah,
he doesn't. I don't even know if he likes being the main actor in things.
Yeah, which this is a very small role, so it's a hard one to kind of it's a hard one to sell to.
This is what my thinking there for Don Johnson.
The only thing I'd say about Don Johnson is he's about 400 years of age. Nobody is going to take him seriously if they're getting into a scrap.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, there's no real scrap in this, He's also meant to have been made, so he's meant to be quite high up on the pecking order. So that does.
Yeah, true.
That's what I was thinking. I thought,
you kill a made man, you get got.
He's an intimidating fella. Let's be honest.
It wouldn't be my choice of things. Yeah. I think that's the first time we've used Don Johnson too.
I'd probably put Bobby Cannavale in a different role in this, maybe, but instead of for Billy Bats.
Yeah, see, it's a hard one to judge because Billy Bats is such a small role. Like, as integral as he is, he's quite small as a character, which kind of makes it difficult. I don't really know which way to go with that. I think I've got the solid pick for this, really, lads. And I was surprised nobody went that direction, but I'm going to go with Bobby Cannavale because I just think he's more intimidating as a presence. And I can buy him being a bit more, up himself than Don Johnson in that sense of being like, you're the shoe shine boy,
Get your fucking shine box.
Yeah. So 1-0. Carl doesn't start well here, but
Carl hasn't started well in a long time. No, that's not true. That one when he started well and went 2-0 up against me and 3-1 up and then lost the rest of them.
Every single other one.
Happens to him.
That he called as well.
Yeah, it happens to him a good bit. We'll go with the other small character here in Spider. Obviously, the young barman who gets he has to learn to dance. He has to learn to dance first, and then he doesn't dance well enough, gets shot in the foot, and then when he heals, he gets got then by poor Tommy, insults him.
So who I went with here, bit of a left field, I think, but I think suits it really well. I went with Tony Revolori.
The man from Spider-Man.
From the new Spider-Man movies. He's
the dick mate.
But I mean, he first started off in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Was he in Dope?
He was.
Quite a young man, but
Yeah.
I think it's a solid choice.
I can see that one, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I went with John David Washington. I'm intent to get him into a part here.
I like John David Washington. I think he's too old for this role and too big of a name for this role.
I think age-wise he's okay for the role, because although it is meant to be this young kid, he's still 34, the actor, so he's not too much older for the role.
Too big.
But I don't think he works. I obviously this is based on a true story, and I don't think that the Italian mobs really tended to have too many black people working for them back in.
It's true. I tried it in there. I did. Like, there was part of me thinking, yeah, it's a true story, and I was like, they could just do it for the sake of a movie.
Yeah,
embellish movies all the time, like
that. Also,
I mean, you can do, and I mean, you could do, but maybe you could do in this film. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's too big of a name for.
Yeah, he possibly is. I will go with Tony Revioli.
Good pick, all right.
It's a good pick. I went with someone who used to have quite a big name, but has dropped off, but would be around that age and could fit into this. They're of Italian descent, I think. In Frankie Muniz.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. No.
I think so. Yeah.
He is retired as well.
I don't think he is. He's in something that's coming up, so I don't think he is retired anymore.
Retirement.
Yeah.
He was in a NASCAR crash, and
he went to NASCAR.
Yeah, he did NASCAR for a while, and his memory, he doesn't remember filming Malcolm in the Middle at all.
Yeah.
Like his brain messed up.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be putting him in there anyway.
I think he's like in his 40s as well.
I don't think he's that old now. Maybe he is. He might be a little bit old for it, but I figured he can fit into that kind of, a little bit cheeky, but also, doesn't do a whole lot in the film anyway. So, and just kill him off. So it's a small role.
That Tony Revioli is a good pick.
Yeah, no, Tony Revioli is a very good pick. So
I was pretty happy with that one, to be honest.
That's another first.
Carl levels it up. 1-1. So he's not going to get clean swept anyway. That's that off the boards for you anyway, Carl.
That's the aim at this stage.
Yeah.
Just hold on.
We'll go with probably the next smallest role in this, and it's probably Karen, I would say.
This one isn't even a small role, really.
She's not that small a role, but I would say the next two small roles are between her and Paul Cicero.
Yeah.
So I would say she's probably a little bit less impactful than he is in this film.
Yeah, they're about the same, really, aren't they?
Yeah, it's relatively close, but they're definitely the next two. It's the other three are the main boys for the film. So, do you first?
I went with a big name here. I went with Scargill.
Okay. Yeah, possibly.
I mean, I'm sick of using the same females over and over again.
Yeah, that's what I changed as well.
Yeah.
So I went with Scargill. She's a good actress. Like, Karen has a fairly few important scenes in this as well, especially when she goes off the deep end when he's cheating on her, and he comes around to the house, and when she's dumping the cocaine out and things.
Yeah.
You need someone that can act to an extent as well.
You do. You definitely need someone who can act. Yeah.
Lorraine Bracco played her originally. I went with someone who,
I thought that's who your pick was, and I was like, Carl, you have lost.
Actually, the character is passionate, doesn't get intimidated very easily, kind of thing. I went with Zoe Saldana.
Who?
Zoe Saldana.
All right, yeah. Now we run that question of going back to coloured people coming into the.
True, but the fact that she's not.
But that family, if they're not going to have someone work for them, they're definitely not going to let a black person marry into the family.
It can happen, though. Has happened.
It can.
Not very often.
I'm not mad on either of those picks, if I'm honest. Scarjo, I think, is just too strong a character. Like, this character is a very, emotionally abused character in that sort of way, Constant,
Did you see her in that one with fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt? She gets pretty much fucked over in that one.
Yeah, she's just a bitch in that.
Yeah, that's what Karen is.
Yeah, I don't know. She just seems to be a bit like, Scarlett Johansson, and maybe it's just because I'm so used to her as Black Widow now, she seems like a very strong character, not one that would be pushed over as easily as Karen is in this quite a lot of the times. But she does have her strong moments as well.
Yeah.
I went with someone a little bit younger. I went with Sophie Turner, who obviously is someone we have used before, but I think she, like we've seen in Game of Thrones, that she can play the, emotionally abused, but then eventually does grow into the role of standing up for herself. I think she'd do this quite well.
Would my backup have been any better than Alison Brie?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think
My backup was Christina Milioti.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Mother in How I Met Your Mother, or she's also
Didn't watch that.
co-lead in that Andy Samberg one, the time loop one.
I think Alison Brie probably would have been a stronger choice than either of the two that you gave me. But as I said, I'm not mad on either of them, but I'd go with Scarlett Johansson over Zoe Saldana.
Quickly moving on.
So we'll move on. Obviously, Big Paulie is the next one. So the head of the family
At one stage.
Roman Reigns, the head of the table.
I went with someone, and I just want you to not think of him as the character that you know him in.
Okay.
Okay, because he has played roles like this and other things. I went with Joel McKinnon Miller.
Okay.
No.
And it was more of the look for this.
No.
If he's not playing Scully, he can look like an intimidating guy. He just has to take the goofiness out of his character.
Okay.
He could play the head of any kind of crime lead or anything like that. Kind of crime. He's a crime boss. So this is what I'm trying to say. But he has the look, and he could have the intimidating factor.
I think he could. Yeah, I do agree. Like, I'm very used to him as Scully, but I do think he can pull off.
Put him in a well-fitting suit. The guy can look intimidating.
Yeah, like he's a big guy. I think he could come off as intimidating if he needed to. Yeah.
I don't like that pick, but then again, I don't think I've seen him in much else other than Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Occasionally, I've seen him when I've watched a few films this year, and I popped up and I was like, "There's Scully."
Yeah.
I went with Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe fighting around the world.
I mean, he could easily be the head of the table.
Yeah, making movies, making songs, and fighting around the world.
With his tugboat.
Yeah.
Tugger!
I couldn't find cancer, so I found this guy with cancer. Yeah.
I think Russell Crowe, like, this part, like, it requires good acting as well. Not saying John McKinnon Miller is a bad actor. It just requires strong acting.
Yeah. Have you seen Russell Crowe recently, Greg? He's a bit of a chubby boy now.
Yeah, and Paul Cicero wasn't.
Paul Cicero's chubby,
and hold on, and John McKinnon Miller isn't.
I know, yeah, but he's.
And I'm going to use Carl's argument here. A well-fitted suit.
Yeah, Paul Cicero.
I would also argue he's the head of an Italian mob.
Yeah, no chance I'm seeing Joel McKinnon Miller getting to the head of an Italian mob.
Has more of that look about him than Russell Crowe.
I don't see that.
I don't think either of them have that look particularly. I actually think they're both pretty decent picks. But I don't think either of them are really Italian mob, like the head of the Italian mob. And you have to be full Italian to be allowed to be a made man in the Italian mob in the story of this. I'm surprised that neither of you went for DiCaprio. I actually expected one of you to go with DiCaprio, who was my backup. But I would have used him if either of you had been judged, because I don't think either of you know the actor. Because I think I've used this character, or I don't think I've used him before, but I've used this show before, and I'm pretty sure neither of you have watched it.
Great.
So it's Gotham. David Zayas, who plays, I think he plays Maroney in that.
The Puerto Rican fella.
Yeah.
I've actually started watching it.
he's an Italian, like, you know, he's meant to be an Italian mob boss.
He's
and
in Dexter.
Yeah, he's in Dexter as well. Yeah.
Angel.
Yeah, but he's very, very good as the Italian mob boss in that. I don't really know. I really thought one of you would go with DiCaprio, which is why I had him as my backup.
You were hoping for an easy one here.
No, I actually thought both of you would go with DiCaprio because I still think DiCaprio would fit into that role quite well.
Yeah, fair.
Like,
potentially.
I was more thinking of a bigger guy just for this role, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but then I was like, Penguin in the new Batman was a pretty big guy, and Colin Farrell's not that big a guy, so
he put on loads of weight for that, though, didn't he?
He was in a fat suit for that.
Yeah, which you could just put, you know.
That's true.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, it's a lot easier to make someone.
Leo has a dad bod.
Yeah.
Dad bods for life.
I also thought that
you don't get to say that yet.
I also thought that Carl might have tried to bust out the Kingpin.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, I thought you might have busted him out either.
Oh my God, I forgot all about him.
Yeah,
that would have been a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he'd have been a cakewalk. He's very. I don't know if you'd buy him as the Italian guy, but I don't really know here. That's
Go on, make it interesting. Keep it 2-2.
Let's not.
I'd like to keep it interesting, and I'd like if that was something that we could do, but I think you need name value as well for this role. So I will go with Russell Crowe.
Fighting around the world.
He is fighting around the world, you know. He's fought a man with cancer, so.
And the Chinese lads.
Yeah. So that puts Greg 3-1 up.
1 point away.
1 point away. So can Carl sweep him here for the last couple? It's back to Greg, and we'll go with Tommy Devito.
Yeah, you'd have to leave the two lads to last.
Now, the biggest issue here is that this guy's surname is Devito. So
Danny DeVito.
You lash Danny in, I can't really say no.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I'd take him.
No, I went a little bit left field here. I went with Jonah Hill.
Ooh.
It's a great. Let's be fair. Joe Pesci is the comedy relief of the three, right?
Yeah, I do agree.
And you'll see Jonah Hill flipping from 0 to 100 in loads of things.
He's kind of comedy relief, but he's still evil.
So?
Yeah. I do think the comedy relief bit does.
It's even his explosions and things.
Yeah, Jonah can switch, I think. Like Jonah is a good actor, so I think he can make those switches if he needs to. Yeah. But they're not like really snap decision ones, you know. He disappears for a little while, then comes back and kills somebody.
It's gas, isn't it? Goes home, comes back, get your fucking shine box.
And then they're winding him up. They're like, You gonna let him talk to you like that? You gonna let him talk to you like that? And then he kills him. They're like, yeah, you weren't meant to actually kill him, you fucking idiot.
I think Jonah Hill is a decent pick for this.
Yeah, I wasn't mad on that, but when you first said it, but yeah, no, I can see that one.
I chose someone that's not really a household name, but he could really be really interesting in this role.
Okay.
He's played a lot of characters at a smaller status and the hides behind his kind of explosive rage. I went with Stephen Graham.
Great actor. Yeah. But nobody was making him and the Italian mob being from Liverpool. Not going to happen.
Not getting Jonah Hill as part of the Italian mob.
You have more chance of getting Jonah Hill than you do Stephen Graham going, meh, meh, meh.
I'm trying to think, have I ever heard Stephen Graham not be a Scouser?
No. Even when he's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Like, I'm actually trying to think, is there any time I've heard him when he's acted and not being a Scouser?
Like, he's a good actor. He's a great actor. I'll give you that.
I think he do this brilliantly.
But he's not becoming a made man.
Can he?
There's no chance.
But can he not sound like a Scouser?
I'm sure.
No, absolutely not. I haven't seen him in anything.
Bit of vocal training in there.
Possibly. I don't know.
You could give a Liverpudlian vocal training for the rest of their life and they still go, meh, meh.
I had
in there, you'd be able to do it.
I had two people here. One of them, again, this is the one I would have probably gone with, but again, you wouldn't have known. I don't think Drew Powell. Again, he's in Gotham. He's kind of the right-hand man for a lot of people in Gotham. He's probably a little bit big in stature for this, but you could shoot it so that he looks smaller.
That's a good show.
I think he'd have been.
He is a big unit, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but you could shoot it to make him look that little bit smaller, do you know? And
Jesus, he is a big unit.
Yeah, he's a big old unit. I had one other as a backup, and this one's really left field, so I don't know. This is why I wouldn't have used this one.
Let me get Google ready.
No, this is someone you'll know. Jon Favreau. I don't know if he'd fit into it, but I think
I don't think so. He might have made a good Paulie.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. He might play a good Paulie, but
yeah. See, I was thinking of him as Paulie, but then I was like, he's kind of in. Well, like he's actually older than I think Paulie was, but I was like, he kind of has that comedy relief to him as well. Is what I was thinking, and I was like, you could stick him in there as the comedy relief kind of guy, but also kind of serious at times when he needs to be. I wish I could give you this, Carl, but I actually don't think Stephen Graham
he suits this role so much more. Jonah Hill does not suit this role.
And the Liverpudlian does.
The problem is literally his accent. I don't know that he can't sound like a Liverpool.
Even when he was in Gangs in New York, he had it.
That's gone. He's played Americans before.
He played an American in Gangs in New York, and he couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah,
he has played Americans before, and without the accent, he is a good actor. He is
a good actor. I will fully give you that.
He's very good. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything where he hasn't had that Liverpool accent, which is what I'm struggling to look past, because he's meant to be. Let me have him, please. Let me have him. He's meant to be full Italian, and you can't be full Italian if you're wandering around with your Scouse accent. I don't think. That's if it wasn't for that, I think I'd have given it to you, because I wasn't mad on Jonah Hill either. But at least Jonah Hill doesn't sound like a Scouser. Meh.
I thought I was really going left field and getting a great old pick in there.
You would if he didn't have to talk so much.
Is that the first time that he's been used?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been used. But
so Carl has gone with 3 out of his 5 picks that have been first time uses.
Don Johnson, Tony Revolori,
and Stephen Graham.
I just think
not one of them won for him. Oh, Tony did.
If Stephen Graham didn't have a Scouse accent, you'd probably be fine, Carl. But I think it's that Scouse accent that I can't get past, because I don't think I've ever seen him not sound like a Scouser in anything. Even Gangs of New York, he has a bit of a Scouse twang to him, which is what kind of hurts him. But we'll continue on. Greg continues on as champ, but let's see if Carl can close up the gap at the very least.
The last thing Carl needs here is a 6-1 defeat for his confidence.
Yeah, so it's Jimmy Conway obviously is the next in line, and it's up to De Niro. It's up to Carl here. No, you can't pick De Niro.
I am taking this man out of purgatory hell for this show.
Oh, I know who it is. I already know who it is. No.
He can 100%. If you just watch Black Mass, he plays.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, you can definitely do it.
And he's 100% getting out of purgatory hell. There's no doubt to that, and I'm delighted for him.
Purgatory hell.
Now, like I even text you when the results or the case killers. Can we use them again now?
Yes, you can.
I went with a name that was already mentioned here. I went with Leo for this role.
Okay, yeah, I can see.
This is where I had him in. This is the first name I had.
I think Leo was technically the first name I had, but I just had him in a
different role.
Yeah. I went with someone different here because this is if I'm not wrong, Jimmy is meant to be Irish,
half Italian,
half Irish, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's what I went with. Colin Farrell.
Okay, I can see that.
I think Colin Farrell.
Jimmy can never get made.
Yeah, he can never get made, but I think Colin Farrell has that kind of,
It's a good show.
I'm a bit insane, and I will beat the ever living shit out of someone just because I'm a bit tetchy, whether they're looking at me funny or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think, yeah.
I think Leo's far better for it.
Leo is probably a better shout, but just because it doesn't matter, and because it.
No, well, I want to see if I win this 6-1. Do it fairly.
No, because it doesn't matter, and because Johnny Depp has just freed himself from purgatory. I'll let Johnny Depp have this one.
That's some bullshit because this is going to end up 4-3 and look like a close battle now.
Well, it might not. It'll depend.
Leo's a far better choice, and you know it. This is some bullshit.
Listen, Johnny won his case, and he's won this one as well. All right, I'm giving the man
some absolute bullshit.
That's his free pass here.
Pity points, but I'll take them.
Yeah, they are pity points, Carl. Like Carl's, he's on the ropes here, Greg. You got to give him something,
Yeah, a 6-1 pound and it'd have been great.
No, he's been beaten down enough. We'll end it off with Henry Hill anyway. Obviously, the main reason we're doing this one. So, who have you got stepping into these big old shoes?
This one, this is what I said to you when we were coming home in the car. I said, Ray Liotta didn't suit this role before going in. Like, if you heard this casting now, Ray Liotta's not a name you would have put to it.
Yeah.
It was completely left field for Scorsese to come out with it. So that's what I kind of went with. I'll give you my backup. My backup, I had Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
But I just couldn't settle on it. I did settle on a bad boy himself. I went with Miles Teller.
Okay.
To picture him being thing like Liotta came in with a bad boy reputation as well.
Yeah.
I went with someone here who he is a fantastic actor.
Stephen Graham.
Great.
Better not be Stephen Graham.
No. He a lot of his roles he plays very complex characters, which is kind of Henry Hill. He can play the charming qualities and then go completely off the rails. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I thought you had the same person as me there for a while, Carl.
Nope. I don't like that.
I thought you were going to say Matt Smith.
Don't know who that is either.
I like Matt Smith.
The Doctor.
The Doctor, or he's the bad guy who, he's basically the bad guy in Last Night in Soho.
Still haven't seen that either.
I thought you watched that the other day.
I put it on and fell asleep.
You fucking idiot. He's very good, and it's basically you can see it in Last Night in Soho. He's kind of I know he's not a gangster in that, but that's basically what he is, He's also not a huge name in that sense, and he's not someone you'd expect to be brought into that role, which is similar to, as Greg said, it's similar. You wouldn't have cast Ray into that role either.
And he took.
I can really picture Jake Gyllenhaal giving that Henry Hill / Seth Rollins laugh.
I do like that laugh.
I can really see Jake Gyllenhaal do that.
I just can't see him do anything else.
I can definitely see him do the laugh, and the slicked back hair, but
the complex performance.
Not really a complex. He becomes a junkie.
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal.
I can see both of them. They're actually this is probably the closest one I'd say between the two of them. Because I think these are both actually very good choices. Still think Matt Smith was the correct way to go. And I really, when Carl was talking, I was like, Carl's going to win this one because he's got Matt Smith. And then he said he's got Jake Gyllenhaal. So it might be recency bias from his current
Definitely recency bias.
his current role, but I'm gonna go with Miles Teller because I think he's an upcoming name, and I think if you threw him into this role, I think he would do it very, very well. I like
if you had done that properly, that could have been 6-1 because Leo was definitely a better choice than Johnny Depp was. And you know it.
Maybe, but Johnny Depp, you know, he deserves.
I don't care. He could have been cast somewhere else, some other movie. Not this time. That should have been 6-1.
No, well, I was the judge, you know, so I couldn't judge him into another film, you know.
Well, then, can I put an appeal in?
You can put an appeal. It's not going to matter because Carl still loses one way or the other. Carl can cede the point to you if he thinks it's correct to cede the point, but I have a feeling he needs all those pity points that he needs. So, Greg will continue on to next week, and Carl, you're back into the judge's seat. Your usual role.
Surprise.
Some cunt.
What film are you giving me and Greg now out of your spite of having gone back into the judge's role?
I'm not giving you the film.
Oh,
I'm not doing a TV show. The franchise.
Back to doing this. I think I've done this to you a couple times. I gave you Rocky, I think, and then.
Did I not give you? I gave you Rocky.
Greg gave us Rocky anyway.
Rocky, and then there was another one in which we had to do a trilogy of or something.
Meet the Fockers. We did the
double.
The duo. Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going back
to the future.
Please be Back to the Future.
Back to the Future already.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There are other characters.
Trilogies of all time. Star Wars, baby. The
All right.
trilogy.
The original ones.
So 4 to 6.
4 to 6. The original.
It's grand. I was looking for an excuse to go back and watch them.
I've already rewatched them because, you know, I rewatched everything in the Star Wars for Obi-Wan. So I've already rewatched them, so that's pretty good.
I mean, it's not the worst choice in the world.
Yeah.
They're just great. They really are.
It's going to be so tough to recast Han.
Yes. Honestly, the hardest one to recast now is going to be Lando because you can't choose Donald Glover.
I'm assuming we can't choose
Alden Ehrenreich
for Han either.
Can't choose Alden either.
Okay.
So just to confirm, we'd also have to be very careful that nobody is in any of the other Star Wars.
Yes.
Well,
fuck you, Carl.
The question is, would the other Star Wars wouldn't have been made yet?
Can't use any of the actors that's been in any of the Star Wars.
I mean, yeah, Carl. I think Carl got hit. No, Rob hit Paige. Remember when she used something in X-Men?
Yeah, he did.
All she was a background stripper.
Okay, right. So
shout out to Big Rob.
Star Wars, right? It's a good one, but it's going to be tough. I have a feeling it's going to be tougher than we think. But as always,
I've had it prepared. I already have my list done as a judge.
Well, you probably should have saved it then until maybe you'd won an episode, but you know.
Well, then he wouldn't have got to use it.
He could have waited for somebody else to pick Star Wars. You know, it would eventually have come up.
Could have been waiting years for that.
Yeah, well, you could be waiting years before you're not in the judge's seat.
No, he'll be waiting. He'll be waiting until next week. After next week.
Well, you can take it that you're probably going to win next week, Greg, because I've really gone in on him hard here. But until next week.
I mean, you went in on him hard. I just knocked him around in the results.
Yeah. Until next week, don't forget to like, share, follow, all that good stuff. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to vote on the polls on Carl's Instagram when he puts them up. But until then, look.